and who is responsible for the quadruple murders. So when some people, some YouTube creators say that Steve is indulging himself too much in this case and that the other parents have their rights too, I disagree personally, because each and every parent is responsible for how they want to get involved in the justice of their child. I believe that Steve is an excellent father. So are the other parents. But Steve has stood like a soldier from the very beginning of this case. As a mental health counselor, I know that people react in different ways when it comes to grief. Not everyone is the same. Take, for example, Stacy Chapin, that's Ethan's mother and father. They decided to let the other two children continue going to the college because they believe it's important for their children, the triplets who's lost their oldest brother, to continue on with their education and their life. Stacy clearly said that it's their choice and they wanted to continue. So I think that's wonderful. Whatever gives the family peace of mind is the main thing. When it comes to Steve, he stated from the start that he is going up front with this case. He's going to court, which he does, and he's representing Maddie and Kaylee, who were almost like sisters. I respect that. We can see even that the two young, beautiful women were cremated and the ashes peacefully lie near each other in Steve's house. And I believe Maddie, it's so hurtful to say, his ashes are with her parents now. But it just shows you the bond between Maddie and Kaylee. Even in death, hopefully they're still together. I can just imagine what these four young students went through. We have seen Xana, his father Jeffrey, in interviews, so he's involved too. Ethan, his mother and father decided to make a foundation of tulips so that they can give out scholarships on Ethan's name, and that is beautiful too. So when people react about how much Steve is doing in this case, I personally don't agree. If that was my child, I would have just been like Steve. But I would have made sure that I don't tamper into the case. But he has the right, as a parent, to find out what exactly happened that night. Because just like things don't make sense for us, you can imagine how the parents feel. They're getting clues, bits and pieces, and it's starting not to make sense for them. In the article, you can clearly see the airmail article. Steve is wondering how come Dylan, DM, and BF, Bethany, were in the rooms texting each other while these vicious murders were happening. Trigger warning. That is questions we've been asking too, and people do get upset when we ask these questions. But I've always said from the beginning that there could be different ways to think about what was happening, especially when it comes to the surviving roommates. It could go both ways. I've said that before, and I'm going to be fair. They could have been threatened by whoever did these vicious crimes not to come out of their rooms and not to talk and not to call the police. That is very possible. But what surprises me is in the press conference, Chief Fry clearly answered the Fox News digital reporter when she asked, were the girls witness, the surviving roommates, to whatever happened? And you saw how the chief reacted. He said immediately, I did not say that the surviving roommates are witness. He said they were just there.
So there were, sorry, I'm Matt Burley with this Books on Review. Hi. So there were other roommates who lived at that residence. Were the roommates home at the time of the attack?
There was other people home at that time, but we're not just focusing just on them, we're focusing on everybody that may be coming and going from that residence.
So since they were home, was it a hostage situation?
No, it was not.
And then they didn't call it into police, so were they injured?
They were not injured, but like I said, we're still following up with everybody that could have been in that area.
And how can you say it's a targeted attack if you don't have a suspect?
Like I said, we take the totality of the situation. We try to make the best bit of information we can with everything that comes in, and then we make our decision off of that. So at this time, I'm not going to expand upon that. But like I've said, we do have a suspect out somewhere, and we are looking for that individual to solve this.
Rachel Sun, Northwest Public Broadcasting. I just want to clarify something you said earlier. Over the past couple of days, the information that we've been getting is there's not a threat to the public. And then earlier I heard you say you can't be sure that there is no threat. I just want to clarify what your stance is on that at this time.
So we still believe it's a targeted attack. But the reality is there's still a person out there who committed 4 horrible, horrible crimes. There's still a person out there who committed 4 horrible, horrible crimes. So I think we got to go back to there is a threat out there still, possibly. We don't know. We don't believe it's going to be to anybody else. But we all have to be aware of our surroundings and make sure that we're watching out for each other.
Okay, and then one other follow-up. I know you said when the call came in, it was for an unconscious person, and also that was a stabbing. It seems, just from an outside perspective looking in, like that would be not the first thing a person calling in would think.
You're right. But the report that we got was that it was an unconscious individual. It wasn't until our officers arrived on scene, went in to do caregiving check on the individual who was unconscious, that we found the scene that we found.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Heather Roberts with ABC News. Just to follow up on what she asked, so the other two roommates were there at the time of the attack?
All the information that we have from our investigation is that yes, they were.
Okay, but they were unhurt.
That is correct.
So is there any explanation as to why it took so long then for someone to call 911? You have surviving witnesses to an incident at 3 or 4 in the morning, and the 911 call didn't come until noon?
I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses. I said they were there. So, you know, we don't know why that call came in at noon and not in the middle of the night. Would have we loved for that to have happened? Yes, but that's not how it took place. So that's why we're investigating everything still, to try to pull all the pieces together.
Were they one of the people, were they the 911 caller?
At this point in time, I'm not going to divulge who our 911 caller is, just because I want to keep the integrity of the investigation at this point, okay?
Last question, are you able to tell whether the same weapon was used on all 4 victims?
You know, that's why we're having the autopsies done. The autopsy will confirm that and hopefully collect some evidence for us, even from those. That's why you do the autopsies, is to try to be thorough and try to gather more. So we'll leave that would probably be something that would come out later.
Pay attention to the words that Chief Fry used. I did not say that they were witness. I said that they were just there. That sentence makes me think that there's more to what happened and what the witnesses saw. Let's not forget, in the beginning of this case, we were told that DM and BF were sleeping in the first floor, that they did not witness anything and that they did not hear anything. They slept throughout the quadruple murders. Trigger warning. When the affidavit came out, we were told completely something else. We were told that DM was sleeping on the room upstairs on the second floor. We were told that DM saw a man with black clothing and a mask. Her father said it was a ski mask. But she saw a man with a mask, allegedly. We were told that DM heard someone who sounded like Kaylee saying, "There's someone here." And then DM allegedly heard a whimper from Xana's room. And then she heard a man saying, "I'm here to help you." Now, if DM heard all that and saw all that, that makes her a witness. Clearly. But according to the chief in the first and second press conference, he said that I didn't say they were witness. I said they were just there. When did they become witness? Because a witness would usually tell what they saw, what they heard from the beginning. My question is, was DM sleeping in the first room, in the first floor, or was she actually sleeping on the second floor? And if DM moved to the second floor, this is my question only, my personal question, Why did Xana ask her father to change the door locks? Was Xana concerned? Did she feel some kind of vibes? Now let's remember, the second floor has 2 rooms. If DM moved to one of the rooms and Xana lived in the other, and the living room was in the second floor, was Xana suspicious of something? Because if Xana and DM lived in the second floor, let's remember, they share the toilet. Was there something going on between the girls that made Xana ask the father to come down and help her either to fix the locks or to change the locks? What was going on actually between the roommates? I've always said that. I'm interested to know if there was any issues between the roommates. Was DM and BF told, allegedly, to change their statements? I know that's a crime, and I don't think that's exactly what happened, but why would somebody change their statements? They were allegedly sleeping in the first floor. When did DM become a witness? Because the chief clearly said she was just there. They weren't witness.
With ABC News, just to follow up on what she asked, so the other 2 roommates were there at the time of the attack?
All the information we have from our investigation is that yes, they were.
Okay, but they were unhurt.
That is correct.
So is there any explanation as to why it took so long then for someone to call 911? You have surviving witnesses to an incident at 3 or 4 in the morning, and the 911 call didn't come until noon?
I don't think I ever said that they were witnesses. I said they were there. So, we don't know why that call came in at noon and not in the middle of the night. Would have we loved for that to have happened? Yes, but that's not how it took place. So that's why we're investigating everything still to try to pull all the pieces together.
Were they one of the people, were they the 911 caller?
At this point in time, I'm not going to divulge who our 911 caller is, just because I want to keep the integrity of the investigation at this point, okay?
I'm with the Daily Evergreen. I was just wondering, were the 2 other individuals present at the home when police responded at noon?
Yes.
Okay.
Chief, if you don't mind elaborating a bit more on those 2 people. Was it 2 people? What have those people shared about the circumstances of that night, what they saw or didn't see?
Well, I'm not going to go into what they shared that night. Obviously, that's part of our investigation. That's part of the information that we're trying to build our complete story with. So at